welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we have something rather wonderful in store for you. This puzzle on screen is called Ship's Wheel, and it's by Codec, and it's Codec's very latest puzzle. I don't know if this has been published actually anywhere yet. It might have been published on the Discord server, but apparently it is absolutely wonderful. Mark has tested this, and he raves about it, so we should be in for an absolute treat. And it seems to be some sort of hybrid of Sudoku and the Japanese logic problem Shikaku, which was one of my very favourite types when the Nickely website was up and running and we could race on Japanese logic puzzles. Shikaku was always the one that I seemed to fare the best at, so I'm hoping I'll be good at this. We shall see in a moment. Now, really one announcement today is to do with Patreon. I know so many of you are patrons of the channel over on Patreon. Thank you so much if you are. But we have loads of extra content over there at the moment. We've got Mark's most recent Cryptic crossword solve. We've got my solve of Balance equals Entropy, which I recorded yesterday during a hurricane, literally during a hurricane. There was a hurricane going on around my house. It was incredibly frightening. I got a bit distracted by the wind, which is still filthy today, by the way, outside, but at least it's, I think it's no longer dangerous, so that's good. But this is an incredible puzzle by JeremyDover and Raumplaner, and I certainly recommend you all try this. It involves balancing these fulcrums around the grid and something called entropy, which is a rather unusual Sudoku concept this time, rather than scientific concept. What's wrong with my mouth today? It's not working. Work mouth. And the other thing is, of course, it's the 19th of February today, which means if you're a patron and you've been trying our quite approachable Sudoku hunt, which appeared at the start of the month, you've got one more day to get your entry in to join the 1,500 of your brethren who have submitted correct solutions to that hunt. So please get your answer in by tomorrow to be in with a chance of winning a prize. So we've got Bubba is Yuki. We might do a couple of Bubba is Yukis actually, because so many of you have managed to be successful. So I'll announce the winner hopefully tomorrow in tomorrow's video. So look out for that. Now that's all I've got to tell you. Let's get on with Ship's Wheel, and I'll read you the rules. So we've got the following. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Each main diagonal marked in blue cannot contain a repeated digit. Okay, so those cells there, we have to have a set of the digits 1 to 9 once each, and the same on this diagonal as well. Now, here's the Shikaku part, which sounds brilliant. We've got to divide the grid into rectangular regions of orthogonally connected cells. A square is a form of rectangle. Oh, I happen to know that. I think it's an oblong, isn't it? An oblong is a rectangle, but can't be a square, whereas a rectangle is basically anything that shape, but can also include a square. So a square is a form of rectangle. Each rectangle contains exactly one circle. A number in a circle represents how many cells are in the rectangle. So imagine that we made that a rectangle. I think what we're saying there is that this cell would be a 6 because there would be 6 cells in that rectangle. Number in a circle. Okay. Rectangles cannot overlap. Each cell in the grid is part of a rectangle, and digits may repeat in a rectangle if allowed by other rules. So this is just a remarkable idea. I mean, imagine setting yourself the task of creating this puzzle. You're just going to make a symmetrical disposition of circles. Well, that is what Codec has done. It's completely symmetrical, rotationally symmetrical as well as sort of mirror symmetrical. And this solves uniquely. Just with the stipulation that we have to divide the grid into rectangles where the circle in each rectangle contains the digits or the number of cells in that rectangle. It is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I can't wait to try this. Anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. And now I get to play. Let's get cracking, and let's hope my Shikaku skills, which are a bit rusty, are still there. I mean, this 5 is immediately jumping out at me because it can't go vertically. 5 is a prime number, so 5 we can't sort of make a square out of a 5 clue, because you can never make a square have 5 cells. So this is going to be a straight line in one direction or the other, and it can't go vertically because it would bump into another circle. So it must go horizontally. There are 6 cells horizontally, so those 4 cells are all part of this 5 clue. Okay. Aha! And we've immediately proved that a square is a form of rectangle, because that cell there has to be a 1, doesn't it? Because it can't go anywhere. It would bump into other circles. So that means this cell must stick out at least a little bit, because if this circle can't be a 1 and it's penned in on 3 sides, it must extend this way. So that's a 2 or a 3, depending on whether it comes into the middle cell. Okay, now what do we do? Now we're stuck. That 8 is not in a circle, so I can ignore that. So this 2 either goes there or goes there. Okay, so that cell... Yes, that's a good question. Remember, we've got to put the whole grid into rectangles that have a circle in them. So where are we going to put this one? Because that one, it can't reach this 2, and the only other cell I think it can get to is this one. So this is the part of the same region. Right, now these 2 can't see anything else. We could never get a rectangle from here into this little domino, so I think all of that has to be the same. Oh right, in fact, yeah, look, this square as well now, and this square, all of this is all the same, so this is at least a 6. Okay, oh, it could be a 9, yeah, okay, so this is a 6 at the moment, but if it comes over there, it could be a 9, it could be a 3 by 3, which would require a 9 here. But then it would hit the 2. So this cell here is a 6 or a 9, is I think what we're learning. This cell now has no home, does it, apart from if it lives in the 5. So the 5's house must include this little room here. So let's put that in there. Now this square must be part of this one, because this, again, we can't sort of bend round and create dog-legged regions in this puzzle. So that's part of a region. This one is well, it could be a square or it could come out. No. Oh, yeah. Hang on. If that goes vertical, how do you get that square into a rectangle? The answer is you can't, because we can't bend. So this doesn't go vertical. So this goes horizontal, and therefore... Oh, so that means this is a 6, I see. So this is a 6. This can only be reached by this cell. Oh, we're getting quite a lot done here. And this is really powerful. This has to be 8. This cell is an 8 now, because it must take those 3 squares. This can't be reached by anything, so that forces this to be of size 6, which it can't be because it already sees a 6 in its row. So this has to grow, and it must be of size 8, because what we can't do is make it of size 10, because I can't write 10 into this cell in a Sudoku. So that is an 8, I think. If I've understood the rules correctly, I think that's an 8. Oh, I see. So now, well, I don't really see, but I do see those 3 cells, I think, can only touch this one. So I'll make those blue on the basis that this blue and this blue, I don't think they can touch each other. This can't be 6. Oh, hang on. This can't be 6 or 8. So what is it? It could be 4, I suppose, if it just stays at that size. Oh, it could be 9. But it can't be 6 like that, or like that, and it can't be 8 like that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that can be anything else other than 4 or 9. It can't be 5. You can't make I can't make a 2 by 2 into a size 5 region. It can't be 7. 7's prime, and that would have to be a strip. Yes, okay, I am convinced. That's 4 or 9. And it would be very useful if it was 9, because then it would, yes, it would be useful, because it would pen this one in, and this one can't be a 1 or a 2. Ah, yeah, this one. This is where we should have looked next, because what can this be? If it comes to the right, it can be a 4 maximum. Oh no, that doesn't work. Straight away, that doesn't work. In fact, it can't come horizontally to the right. I love this sort of puzzle. This is just so inventive. But why can't this come this way? Well, it's because of the options that would be available for this. This can't be then, if this comes this way, let me show you. We'll make this green. So if this goes right and it's green, how do we get to these two cells now? They can't be part of the yellow, and they can't be part of the blue without making the blue of size 6. So these are impossible. So that tells us that this must come down, and it must come down at least 3 cells. Oh, hang on now. Oh no, it can't. It can never hit this one. So that, although it's a bit similar to yellow, so I will change that one. That one can be red or grey. I might make it grey on the basis that red's a bit close to orange. So this is at least 3, but it can't be more than 4. It could be 4 if it comes down to here, but that's as far as it can go. So that's 3 or 4. Okay. Ah, so that cell's penned in and has to be a 1. Oh, this is just stunning. Which means this one's penned in and can't be a 1, so it's got to come out this way. So this, I see, so this is a 2 or a 3, and one of these two has to reach the middle cell. Ah, now that's a little bit interesting. Let me tell you why. That's interesting because this cell can no longer be a 2 or a 3. But because one of these shapes has to reach the middle cell, that will be a 3, and it will force the other one to be a 2. So this cell can't be 1, 2, or 3, or, hang on, what can it be? It could be 4. It could be, oh, okay, it could be 5. It can't be 6. So I think it can be 4, 5, 7, or 9. Okay, sorry, I thought that was going to be more helpful. Now, if that was a 2, this would have to grow and be bigger than it is at the moment. Okay, what do we do now? Now we look like we're hitting a bit of an impasse, don't we? This one can't be a 4, because again, we've got to avoid penning this shape into this shape. But oh, I see, but that could come vertically like that, and leave this one as a size 4, which could then be and then those could go like that. Okay, so I think we are actually getting a bit stuck now. What about that cell? Can only touch that one, so those two must be in a region together. Yeah, oh, I see. We've got the same thing going on in all of the corners, actually. Yeah, because of the disposition of circles in the puzzle, all of these little triples around the circles on the edges must belong to the circles they're next to, because cells like this or this or this cannot connect to other circles without creating a region that would contain a second circle. So that's a region. We'll make that red. This is a region. We'll make that green. So these... Oh, I see. Oh, right, hang on. There's something going on with these cells. These cells will see each other because of the diagonal. So what I'm wondering is, what are the possible values of these? of these corner regions, and that's because they all see each other. So we can never have a 6 in any of these, but we must have at least a 4, and we know we can't have a prime number, so we can't have 5 or 7 in these, because again 5 or 7 is just going to be a strip always. And because all these have to be different, then they all have to be selected, I think, from 4, 8, 9, these 3 cells. What digit have I missed out there? I've missed out 5, it's prime. I've missed out 7, it's prime. I've missed out 6 because this 6 sees all of them. And that's it. So these are a 4, 8, 9 triple. Oh, and that one sees 8. Aha! So that's a 4, 9 pair, and this, I'm going to say, is an 8. So this 8 either goes up like that, or it goes across like that. And one of these is a 9, which is going to do something like that or like that. And this one, no, I think this one's still got some optionality, hasn't it? It depends what this 8 does. If the 8 goes horizontally, I mean, this could just be a strip of 2. And then that could come down there, or it could grow and be bigger. Ah, okay. Okay, so what do we do now? Oh, right. Well, there's a 4 and a 9 looking at this square, so that's not 4 or 9 anymore. So this is down to 5 or 7. Oh, you know what I've just had a thought about? This isn't Phistomefel, is it? Gosh, that would be an idea. Oh no, I don't... well, okay, I don't think it's Phistomefel. The reason I suddenly thought about Phistomefel was because I can see 2x2s in the corner. But of course these aren't real 2x2s in the corner, because this one has to grow and one of these has to grow as well. So the Phistomefel ring, of course, is the theorem that tells us that those cells, in fact, let me just duplicate the tab for anybody who's not familiar with the Phistomefel ring, restart the puzzle. The Phistomefel ring is a theorem that tells us that these cells here are the identical 16 digits that appear in the 2x2 cells of a corner, in the corners of a Sudoku. I'm not going to prove that unless I can see a reason to use it in this puzzle, but it's just something to be aware of. It is provable. But what's that going to mean? That means that this ring has to contain the digits 4, 6, 8 and 9. I suppose that is a little interesting. We've only got 8 in there so far. Nine is going to be very difficult to put in this ring. Because how could any of these circles contain a 9 now? None of them can be 9. They'd be too big. 9 has to be a 3x3, and you can't put a 3x3 in any of them. So if that's a 9, you'd have to have a 9 in one of those 2 cells, and if that's a 9, you'd have to have a 9 there, which is a little bit interesting. Right. So now I'm properly stuck as the wind flies round outside the house again. How can we make more progress here? This 8 either goes up here. If the 8 goes up there, how do you get to that cell? One of these has to get... Oh, hang on a minute. Let me just think about this. Something's got to get to this cell. It's one of those 2. But having got to that cell, I suppose it then depends which direction the 8's gone in. And and don't forget this one. Oh, don't forget, I'm saying that to you like it's you who's forgotten it. It was me who's forgotten it. This one can grow, so that could be a 6. Oh no, it can't be a 6 because that can't be a 6. Oh, okay. So right. Okay. So this one is even because it takes 2 digits this way. And it can't be 6 or 8, so that's 2 or 4. So if it's 4, it does that. That forces the 8 to do that. That forces this one to do that, forces that one to do that. And that would all work. I think that would be a 4, that would be a 2, that would be a 4, that would be a 3, so that would be a 2. And I'm not sure what's wrong with that. So how do we do this then? How do we do this? If we... That was on the basis this was a 4. What if this was only a 2? Then this would be a 3. This would be a 2. This 8. The thing is, that 8 could still, I think, go in either direction. Because these circles don't see each other by Sudoku, they could contain the same number. They could both be 4 and just do something simple like that, I think. Or something simple like that. How do we get more traction on this then? We can... Is it something to do with this 2-3 pair? The fact one of these has to be a 3. One of them has to be a 2. Whichever one is a 2 is going to prevent their adjacent domino here from being a 2. So one of these cannot be 2. But the thing is, it could spill out. Oh, yes, that's a good... No, okay, hang on a minute. 16, 18. Here's an idea. This might be nonsense, but I'm going to go with it. Those cells, because this is a 2-3 pair, this little dogleg here is part of the puzzle that's finished. I mean, we've got to resolve which of these is 2 and which of these is 3, but we know that that's finished. Now, if you look at this circle, this circle, this circle, and this circle, those circles, I think, have to... Oh no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong, because this one could invade. No, sorry. I think I was trying to get my head around the fact that those 16 cells plus these 2 cells are... I suppose, can I include that? Oh no, I can include that one. They're still going to not change the parity. Yeah, okay. Let's look at this. So we've got this region of cells, this region of cells, and how whatever this one does, it could extend this way, it might not extend this way. But clearly those cells that I've just highlighted there are an even number of cells. I'm saying that's clear, but it is clear. They are an even number of cells. There's 20 cells there, so that's even. And they have to be filled using clues from these circles. Now we might have to add more cells to this one's total, because it might have to take some dominoes over here. But that's still going to mean that this overall number of cells serviced by these circles, these five circles, is even. Now this circle has to be even because it's only got a width of 2. So it's either going to be a 2, a 4, a 6. It can't be an 8 because of this one. So this one is even. This one is even, this one is even, so these two have to have the same parity, because we know overall these circles have to add up to an even number. So these are either both odd or both even. Now, if they're both odd, they don't see each other, so we could... No, what? If they're both odd, one of them has to get that. They can't both be 1, because then this cell's not filled. So one of them has to be at least a 3, and neither of them can be a 5, because 5 is too large. We can't put a 5 string of 5. So one of them is a 3, and I don't know which one it would be, but one of them is a 3. So if that one was a 3, if this one was the one tasked with achieving this one's, we go 3 up here, No, hang on, this... Oh, yeah. No, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. Okay, let's do this slowly. So I'm trying to establish whether or not this is an odd pair of digits or an even pair of digits. Now, if these are both odd, one of them must be a 3 to capture this cell. And this is going to work symmetrically. Let's just go with this one being the 3 and think about the consequences of this shape existing in the grid. It's going to force the shape of the 8. If this was 3, it would force the shape of the 8 down here. We've made this one a 3, it's going to force the shape of the 8 there. But now we've got a big problem with this cell. This cell cannot be reached by anything. It can't be reached by that. It can't be reached by this. So that cell's isolated. Now let's just prove to ourselves that the logic is identical. If instead of this being a 3, we made this a 3. If that's a 3, now what gets to this square? Nothing. No, it's simple. Okay, right. Sorry, I've made a meal of understanding that, but I think I have understood it. So these squares are even. Now, what does that mean? Their options are 2, 4, 6, or 8. Whichever one's grabbing this is going to be a 2 or a 4. Well, neither of them can be 8. That's just ridiculous. You can't put 8, the size 8 shape in there. Not, well, even once this has become 8, you can see very clearly it's very impossible for these to be 8. Now, one of them might be able to be a 6. Although that will jam in everything else. If you put 6 here, it has to be like that. That forces the 8. No, that doesn't work either. Right. Well, it certainly doesn't work for this to be a 6. If that's a 6, you've got to do a shape like that. The 8 goes here. This has to be a 2 now. Something's got to pick this cell up. So that's a 2, and that's a 2, and that's a repeated 2. Oh, no. Oh, no, okay. Well, it's very true to say that isn't a 6. What I'm not so sure about is whether this one we can rule out 6 from. If that's a 6, that's an 8. Ah, no, it works. It still works. It's still bad. Right, this can't be a 6 either. Because if that's a 6, now this is an 8. This has to be reached by something. It can only be this as a 2. So that's a 2. This is a 2. So this is a 3. And that means that has to be a 2. Because it won't be able to extend to this square. And you'll get 2 2s in those 2 squares, which doesn't work. So right, so this is good. This is good. We've now got rid of 6 from there. Ah, I've got a 2-4 pair in this box. And that means that's a 3. So that's red. I think I've done that in the least efficient way possible, but I at least logically I'm now satisfied this is a 3, so that's a 2 now. So that's a 4. Now, does that mean this one has to pick up this cell? I suppose it doesn't necessarily, because that could still be a 4. Oh, bobbins, I don't know that we know. We do know, actually, the total count of cells that are consumed now in these 4 circles, because that must be a 2-4 pair. So that's 6, 10, 18. So that's consuming 6, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So, okay, so that's exactly equal to that shape. So that means this... yeah. What's this? Oh, that's it. Right, it's this shape that we have to now think about. Because this shape we know is an even number. It sees 2, 4, and 8. So this has to be a 6. And which way does it go? Well, we know it can't encroach this way because these 4 cells need to reach a size of 18, which consumes everything in this shape here. So this has to go this way. This is so ridiculous, Codec. It really is. Now, Now that can't be 9, so that's 4. Ha-ha! And that means that must be 9. That must do this. Oh, no, we still don't know what that is. I don't think we do. This can't be a... Right, I think we know what this is. Because it can't be a 1. So it's got to extend this way. And the moment it does that, what takes this square? Well, the only thing that can is this digit. So that's a 3, and it goes horizontally across here. So now this digit must be associated with this. We'll make those purple. Okay. So I don't actually think that's resolved everything. Okay. I tell you what I could do now. I could write 9 in here by Phistomefel. That's a little bit tempting to do that. But then I'd have to prove the Phistomefel ring, which would extend the length of the video by 5 minutes. So let me just see if I can find another way of proceeding here. I'm sure it must be possible now to fill in the rest of the circles unambiguously. I just can't see how to do it. It's not going to be 2, 3. No, I can't see how to do it. Okay, so let's think about this a bit more, with a bit more purpose, shall we? So if this was a 4 coming vertically down, this would be an 8. That would be a 4, and that would be a 2, and that would seem to work. I cannot see what's wrong with that. So vertical 4 here seems to work. Horizontal 4 means that this would have to be the 8. This could be 2 or could be 4, and it's ambiguous. So I don't think we know what the order of these is, even now. That's a bit terrifying. Okay. So I know that this is a strip. So I know it's a vertical or a horizontal strip, but I still don't think we know which way it goes. So what are we going to do to try and get ourselves out of a pickle here? We're going to have to look at... Oh, I tell you what, this square can't be a 2. Yes, so what's the options for this circle? Well, it could be a 1, actually. If it's not a 1, its only other option is 3 going that way. And that looks impossible, because that's going to give this cell a problem. So this can't be a 4, and it can't be bigger than 4, so that is a 1. Which means there's a 1 in one of those two cells. This gets its very own colour, which we shall make red. This cell, oh no, this cell can still be got either by this one or this one. Oh, but this cell, aha, yes, this cell must be got by this shape here, because this 4 can't reach it. So that is a region which might grow, but the fact that's a region means that this cell is now isolated and can only be reached by this cell, which becomes a 4. So oh no, this is a 4. Okay, so how do we fill this region? We can see these two cells have to sum to 8 because there are 8 cells. And they can't be the same digit, so they can't both be 4. And they must both be even because they both have a domino to start them off. So this is a 2-6 pair. And that means I can place 2 in the middle box by our old friend Sudoku. Because where does 2 go over here? Can't go here, can't go here, can't go there, can't go there because of these 2's. So I can place 2 on the positive diagonal. 2, 3, 4. That square can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 or 9. That's 5, 6 or 7. So probably, yeah, we want to check these cells, don't we? Because we're going to have a lot of digits looking at these cells. So this square can't be 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it can be 5 though. Can't be 6. 5, 7 or 9, I want to say. Definitely see 6 and 8. Yeah, okay, 5, 7 or 9. And this square, that sees 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Actually, this might be the one. And oh, it doesn't see 6. Neither of those 6s see it, so it might be able to be 6 or 7. Can't be 8. Ah, and can't be 9. Ah, okay, so this is a rather beautiful digit now. This is a rather beautiful digit. That is a 9. Just by Phistomefel, we knew this was a 9 from the Phistomefel ring that I showed you earlier. But we now know it's a 9 by Sudoku, of all things, because that's a 5, 6, 7 triple on the positive diagonal. And every one of those cells sees this cell. So this 5, 6, 7, you can't have a 5, 6 or 7 in this cell. If you did, you would avoid its possibility from appearing on the positive diagonal. Look, you can see that if you make that a 5, you can't put 5 here, you can't put 5 here, and you're going to get a repeated digit in those 3 cells. So this square has to be a 9. That's absolutely beautiful. And I didn't have to spend 5 minutes proving the Phistomefel ring, although whether it would have still been quicker for me to prove the Phistomefel ring to give me a 9 here rather than get this triple is a moot point. But now I must be able to work out what those digits are. They have got to be 1s, 3s and 4s. 1s, 3s and 4s. Now can we do better than that? Yes, that's not 4. Yeah, actually, where does 4 go in this box? I don't know, but I know it's in one of those cells. So that square's not a 4. So now I can place 4 on this diagonal, exactly here. Which might be interesting, I don't know. Okay, I still don't know which way round this 8 goes. I've got a horrible feeling I'm meant to know that. So it must be Sudoku we've got to do, mustn't it? So 8 has to be in one of those 2 cells in box 8, which means it's in one of those 2 cells in box 9, which means it's placeable in box 3, because 8 in box 6, we don't know much about it, but we do know it's not in column 7. So in column 7 we can ask where 8 goes, and I think it's only got one possibility. Oh, okay, which actually doesn't do very much. No, it really doesn't do very much. That's disappointing. No, okay. So perhaps we can do something better with the negative diagonal, maybe. We've got to put 1, 2, 3, 5 and 7 on it. I'm just trying to see if any of those cells are particularly restricted. This cell can't be 2 or 5. 1, 2, 3, 5 or 7. So this is 1, 3 or 7. Oh, it's not 3. Right, that's 1 or 7. 1, 2, this is 3, 5 or 7, I think. So this seems to be a 1, 3, 5, 7 quadruple, which is quite surprising. And that means the other cells in this box must include a 9. Now 9, do we know where 9 goes? No. No, we don't. Do we know? Oh, 8 now. Oh, yeah, look, 8 and 6 have to be horizontal. Oh, this is it. That's it. Right, that's amazing. So basically, we had to get that these cells are all restricted. Then we could ask where 8 and 6 go in the middle box, which has to be horizontal. And now that's a 2. And now that's a 4. And that's a 2. And that's a 6. And now we can finish our blue region off here. So that right-hand side is now looking good. And we get a 4 here. So we can finish off our green region. This 8 is now forced. What reaches this cell? Only a horizontal stripe from that. So that, I think, is the colouring. We've done the Shikaku. It only took me 40 minutes. Good grief, Simon. Now, those squares have got to be a 4-9 pair now, I think. Probably resolve that somehow, but I don't see how. 5, 6, 7. 1, 3 pair on this diagonal. So what do we need these cells to be? We haven't put 3 in this column yet. So these are 3, 5 and 7 in some order. I don't know if that's very useful. I'm noticing we've got all of the ship's wheel filled now. Every circle is done. Now actually, do we need the colours anymore then? Let me just think about that. Do we need the colours? No, because in this puzzle, digits can repeat within regions. So once you know what the circles are, I think we can get rid of all the colours. I think that's true. So let's actually approach this now as a Sudoku and see if that's going to help us. So we can do 9 up here, 9's over here. Oh, nearly analogous logic to the 8s. Look, 9 in this box has to be in column 1 and 2. So 9 in column 3 now has to be in this domino. And that, of course, is unresolved. Okay. All right. Well, maybe we've got to continue thinking about the negative diagonal then. 1, 2, 3, 5 and 7. No, actually that's not a good thought. 1, 2, 3, 5 and 7, because none of these digits seem to be restricted at all. Okay. I'm confused now about how I'm going to finish this, because it does seem like we've used all of the really powerful clues, and all we're left with is stuff that might not work. Right, it's going to be some simple Sudoku trick that we have got to figure out. So maybe I'll start with column 7, because at least I've got 5 digits there. I need 2, 4, 5 and 7. Oh, yeah, where does 4 go in this column? Yes, okay, that's good. So that's the 4. That's a 4 by Sudoku. Okay, so how many 4s have we got now? The answer is several. We just can't resolve the last 2, which are sort of in an X-wing pattern. But at least we got this 4. That can't be 6, I'm now noticing from this 6. Ah, where does 6 go on the positive diagonal? Only here. So now 6 is in one of those 2 cells. 6 is placed in box 9. 6 is placed in box 3. Okay, I now maybe believe this finishes. So there's a 6-9 pair that's just emerged in box number 2. So these squares have got to be 3, 5 and 7 to complete that box. We don't know much about that, but we've got quite a lot of digits now in this column. We need 1s, 7s and 9s. So that's a 1 or a 7. That's a 1, 7 or a 9, and this is going to be a 1, 7 or a 9, isn't it? Okay. Okay. So let's do this column. 2, 5 and 7 into these cells. 2, 5 and 7. Can we see anything that's restrictable there? Well, I suppose the simple thing is to say that 2 is in one of those. So 2 is not here. So 2 on this diagonal now is placed. It can only go in the very top corner of the grid, which places 2 in box number 3. Now, does it place it anywhere else? Yes, it places it here, it places it here. Good grief. Okay, well, that's useful. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All of the 2s are now done. Okay, and we now have a choice of where to look next in terms of quite full rows and columns. I'm tempted to look at this one. 3s, 5s, 7s and 8s. No, that's a silly idea, isn't it? I'm going to get a very heavily pencil marked grid any moment as well. Okay. Where now? No. Is there something... Is there something I'm meant to know about this? The 4s, either the 4, 9, 6, 8s or the 1, 3, 5s and 7s in the middle box. I don't know, actually. That doesn't feel like it's going to be immediately revealing. So this... Yeah, okay, let's have a look at row 3 then, in the hope that this reveals something. So 3s, 5s, 7s and 9s. So this square is 3, 5 or 7. I don't think I can restrict it further. 7. So these are 3, 5, 7 or 9. We've just got a lot of optionality about the odd digits. Okay, what about the middle row then? Okay, because I've got this 6, 8 pair. So I need 5, 7 and 9 into the edges. This square, oh, for goodness sake, Simon, where does 6 go in this box? It can only go here. Sorry about that. Which means that, oh, that doesn't do us, no, it doesn't do us much favours, or many favours. So this square here is 7 or 9 only. And this square is 5, 7 or 9 only. 1s. Maybe 1 is a digit we could look at. No, I think that's oh, maybe it is actually. 1 has to be horizontal in box 3. So 1 has to be in one of 2 places in box number... Yeah, well, it's almost interesting. So 1 is in one of 2 places in box 1. 1 in box 7 is in one of 3 places, I think. But that's interesting in that we've not yet managed to put a 1 in column 2 of the grid, which must now be in one of those 2 cells. And unfortunately, I think there our logic dies out. No, it doesn't. Where does 1 go in box 9? It has to be vertical. So this square is not a 1. This is the 1, and that's now a 3. And I'm hopeful. Yes, 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 yes. Here we go. 5, 7 pair here. So that is a 3, 9 pair. But importantly, or perhaps importantly, that square's a 5, 7 by Sudoku. Ah! Total miss. Ah! That's a complete lost my army moment. 5, 7. But this 3 is seeing that cell. So that's got to be a 1. And therefore that's a 7. That's a 5. And that's a 3. And now that square in the corner has to be a 1 on the negative diagonal. Which means that this is no longer a 1. And what other work is this? So that 5 is doing a little bit of work. This 3 is doing a little bit of work. Yeah, where does 3 go in box number 2 now? It has to go there, which places 3 down here. This 5 is giving us a 7 and a 5 over here. That's giving us a 5 here. 5 is in a domino in this box. And we must have a 1, 7 pair left in box number 1 to fill in. But that's fine, that's fine. At least this feels like it's going somewhere again. Okay, so where's the simple place to look now? It's going to be... don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, I am. That's a 7. On this diagonal it's finished. So that's a 7 and that's a 5, which means that's a 5. So 5 now is exactly here in box number 8, which means 5 is placed in box number 7. All the 5's done. 1, 2, 3. Nearly. We can get a 5 here, which is going to give us a 4, which is going to give us a 4, which is going to give us a 9. Now 9 is placed in this box. That's probably been available for a while. I've only just seen it though. Oopsie. And 9 is in one of these two cells. In this column we need 7s and 8s, which are placed because of the 8 in this row here. That's a 3. So that should be a 7. If I haven't made an error, that's a 9. That's a 1. That should be a 3. That's a 3. That's a 9. That's a 7. That's a 9. That's a 1. That's got to be a something. An 8. That's a 7. That's a 1. And what's this digit? A 9. And that looks important actually, because that seems to be disambiguating these final few thingies. And that's... what do we need here? We need a 7 in one of them and a 8 in the other. And that looks like it's the correct solution. What a puzzle that is. That is so brilliant, Codec. I cannot tell you, well, the size of my admiration for creating a puzzle like that. It's just superb. To make a puzzle out of circles, or to sort of rectangle the... what are we doing here? We're not squaring the circle, we're rectangling the circle, or something like that. We're rectangling the circles. That's what I should call this video, because that's what we're doing. We're having to design rectangles. I feel a bit bad now. I've deleted I have deleted part of the solution, haven't I, in terms of... well, but you all know what it was. I'm never going to remember it, so don't ask me to remember where everything was. I think that 5 was there. I'm not going to try and recreate it. It would take me too long. But we did have it in the grid at one point, and it was very helpful. And yeah, I just lost in admiration for another work of genius from a sensational constructor. I hope you enjoyed watching me solve it. I hope you had a go at the puzzle yourself and you got through it. Do leave a comment, do like the video if you did like it, and I do enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.